Welcome to Deadlands, folks. Thank you all very much for coming. Once again, that's what happens when I don't look at a chat window that apparently is there when I'm still not used to the interface. But there we are. Hello. Because I will just keep rambling until the end of time otherwise. Thank you all very much for coming. Welcome to Deadlands. As reported earlier, I'm Marshall Jim, and we're going to kick this thing off. Here, I want to once again shout out to all the YouTube viewers looking at us in the future. Thank you all very much for coming back and watching this. I'm very excited to see where things go. This is set once again in 1935, or relatively springish of 1935, out in the Dust Bowl region, as we have a band of folks with Max Salem's Carnival out trying to basically set up for the Carnival's arrival. And now let us go ahead and go around and say hi to all these folks who are part of this wondrous thing, and we will start with Ray. Hello.
Oh, hey, I'm Ray, or with a Brit with 2Ks. I play Piper. Piper is a fire fan performer at the Carnival, kind of just a free-spirited, really peppy little one who just wants to bounce around and figure out what's going on and also fight crime at the same time, apparently paranormal crime. But yeah, we're here, and I'm really excited to be back as Piper today.
Excellent, excellent. Very cool. And now let us head down to Colin. Hello.
Hello, I'm Colin Kelly. That's my Twitter handle. I play Richard, the security guard in the Carnival, who at the end of last episode met with someone pretty important from his past, so we'll see where that goes today.
Yes. Excellent. But I can't wait. I really can't. But now let us continue on and say hi to Anna. Hello.
Hello, I am Anna, as Jim mentioned, and I play Willa, who is our supernatural skeptic Carnival business manager. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens with Willa's new, very shy friend that nobody else in the crew has seen as of yet. We'll see where that goes.
Yes. Goodness knows where she's gone. And as we continue around the wave of this sundial, let us say hello to Nat. Hello.
Hello, I'm Nat. My pronouns are he, they. I'll be playing Felden today, the magician of the Carnival. Although he'll assure you he is nothing of those supernatural, just a peddler of cheap amusements and entertainments. He's definitely not worrying about the thing that follows him on the wind right now. Nothing about that is concerning in the slightest.
It's
excited
fine.
to jump back into it.
Fine.
Yeah, and that was totally a tiger through the wind last session too, right? No magic?
Yeah, that was that was just a tiger. That was just a wandering tiger. It's just wandering friend Lily through. And finally, let us head up to Pepper. Hello.
Hi there. My name's Pepper. I use they, them pronouns. I am playing Kai, Mordecai, technically. He prefers to go by Kai, the resident photographer with a dirty little secret on the side and a very interesting camera who managed to caught something very, very, very special last time that he needs to discuss later in the session. I'm excited.
Yes. There are a lot of very cool conversations that I think are going to be going on this session that I'm just I am bursting with excitement to see. But before we dive into all of that, as a reminder, I want to thank very much our sponsors, Fantasy Grounds and World Anvil, and we're going to head over to hear a little bit more about them from Past Charlie. Take it away.
Past Charlie here to tell you about a few of our sponsors. Fantasy Grounds is our virtual tabletop of choice, providing us access to roles, tokens, maps, and more. You can try it today for free at fantasygrounds.com. While you're there, why not check out Fantasy Grounds Unity? World Anvil is a remarkable resource, whether you're a writer, GM, or player, organizing your campaign notes or building an entire world. Get forging today for free at worldanvil.com. And before we get into today's game, we'd like to shout out our friends at Andrews McMeel Publishing, who published the wonderful game Zweihander. If you haven't checked that out, you can catch it here on Wednesdays. We'd also like to mention Modifius, who manage and produce a wide range of RPGs. Whether you feel like being Dishonored, exploring a tale from the loop, or boldly going with Star Trek adventures, why not check out modifius.com.
Hey folks, we have returned and we're going to dive into this thing. Last time, our intrepid carnies checked out their new fairgrounds and encountered a scared young hobo who'd been bitten by a creature that they pretty quickly saw pursuing him, a cadaverous being that might once have been human. The creature attacked and they dispatched it. They found from the young man they'd rescued that the lot they were standing in had the unusual property of repelling creatures of that kind. And further investigation revealed it was due to some occult symbols placed in a perimeter around the lot. Upon reporting the creature's body to the police, they discovered that this was the third such corpse found that day. The next morning, the crew decided to check out the town's hospital, which was reputed to be haunted. While most of the performers entertained the occupants of the children's ward, Willa made contact with the spirit of a girl who was trying to re-enter the basement, but was now finding she couldn't due to another familiar-looking symbol that an older woman had placed on the basement door, according to the girl. The group then decided to go door-to-door looking for someone matching the description of the person the ghostly child had described. As this search was going on, Richard passed by the church and encountered the town reverend as he was exiting it, and realized in shock that the man was his old mentor, Martin Lazarus. And that's, I believe, where we left off. Folks, as a reminder, once again, we have a set of donations that can be done to affect things that are going on. If you purchase a crit success or a crit failure, crit successes go to the players, crit failures go to me, and those can be converted into bennies whenever they decide to do that. Basically to use it and then to use it as a benny. Once again at £10, you can purchase a benny or a boon, and so we get to do terrible things. And at the £12 donation level, that's going to be it's a crit for everybody. £20, a twist of fate happens. £30, we get to create an NPC. At £100, ultimate power, which I have yet to find out truly what that is, but I'm really looking forward to it. And now, let us see where we are. We are in town. We're in the middle of town, I think. Yes. Before we light on that encounter, as I think it's been creeping slowly into afternoon as you folks have been going around and going door to door and just essentially trying to get flyers out to folks for the carnival coming up today. But in truth, of course, it's been it's been a little bit different. It's that what you're truly trying to do is find kind of a needle in a haystack. An older woman, as described by a child who might have been like 10, and with I believe it was a gray shawl and a red scarf, and I think, yes, I know what I'm going to do. I think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a card to determine something.
Don't like that.
There are... no, it's fine. It's just fine.
It's like you're trying to make me nervous, Jim.
So I would like everyone other than Richard to this time choose a card rank, and that means anywhere from ace to all the way up to king.
I would like to choose the jacks.
Okay.
Or jack, singular.
9.
Oh, I was just gonna say 9. We'll do 5.
Get down, Don.
Do 5.
Okay. And Kai, what number do you want?
I'll take 3.
3. Okay. All right. Let's see if anything falls into anyone's lap as this goes on. I'm going to see I've panned the deck, and I'm going to pull out a card just at random. I'm not looking at them. Eight. So, Feldon is the one who's closest to it.
Well, dang.
You went, as I recall, looking around the North Field. At first, figure out sort of where the folks in that tent city were, and you figured out that they had gone kind of to the south end. You would set up your poster beam.
Of course.
And while you're doing that, you're going to notice amongst the some of the folks sort of around the nearby tent city that there is. You actually turn and you will sort of see a woman hobble out near this little fire. This little you got a little cooking fire going, and she appears to be wearing a tattered old gray shawl.
All right. Feldon's going to straighten up, adjust his bow tie a little bit, flip his cane, and just go walking up with all of the, pomp and swagger he can manage as a, definitely not destitute magician.
And so this woman's just sort of like, she seems to be cooking something over the fire. There are a couple other itinerant workers just sort of coming around, and actually, just a few of them sort of coming out, and they're coming out. It looks like they're probably getting ready for lunch of some kind.
All right. If she's facing away, Feldon will reach out and just get a little tap on the shoulder.
All right. She'll be like,
Hell, you look like a woman of discerning taste, don't you?
Oh, oh, don't you look nice? It's almost ready.
I'm going to bounce off of that comment. Would you happen to be familiar with a certain a girl? I think she was lost in the hospital by the name of Octavia.
Octavia?
An old friend of mine.
I knew a girl named Octavia a long time ago.
Well, people living weird amounts of time isn't too uncommon or unheard of in these strange times. Tell me about her.
We went to school together around here. It was quite a while ago.
Might I ask your name?
She was very nice. She always wore the most sensible shoes. And she sort of hears what you're saying. I'm Alma.
Alma, what a beautiful name. Thank you. Well, the carnival's coming in.
And
carnival's coming into town tomorrow. I hope you'll see you there. I am Lord Felden, the magician.
You, my dear boy. A magician! Oh, well, do be careful who you treat with.
Always.
You know what they say about magic. It is rather tempting, isn't it?
Oh,
just make sure not to summon up anything you can't put down. And she turns and she continues stirring.
Can I, lean over and see what's in that pot?
Sure. Make a notice roll.
Sure. Okay. Ha! It's a 4.
Right. Excellent. That's what we were looking for. Yeah, you look in. It's actually it looks like it's broth. There is it looks like a very small probably a chicken bone at the bottom.
By probably a chicken bone, you mean almost certainly not a chicken bone, right?
Well, it looks like a chicken bone.
What do we press to doubt? I forgot the meme.
It's pick your key of choice. Really,
X to doubt. I've played that game so many times.
It's to doubt.
Oh, I know ours so good.
All right. Well, Felden will take a bit of a sniff and go, smells appetizing. Unfortunately, I have an appointment to keep. Stay safe.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, too. Perhaps we'll see more of you later. And yeah, she's just basically sitting there happily cooking away. She's she seems, it's like it is warm, but she's also elderly, so that could be why she has the shawl. And also you do notice there is a kind of a maroon scarf that she is wearing. And as you sort of are turning away and heading off, you do see she actually takes it off, and she hands it to an old man that comes up to look at who's kind of coming up a little bit just to come up and look in the pot, and she hands him the scarf, and he puts it on.
Was it like you look cold, here, take this scarf, or was he expecting to get that scarf? Have they done this before?
It looked more like a you look cold, here, take this scarf type move.
Okay. And she looked like what, 60, 70, 80?
Yes.
Gotcha. Felden's gonna go try to find Willa.
Okay, so you're gonna head off to do that.
Yeah.
As folks are careening through town doing various things. Let's see. Who shall we settle upon? As this wheel spins a bit? Yeah. We're going to actually, yes, I kind of want to see where this conversation is going to go briefly. Kai, you were hanging out around the saloon. As I recall, the Wailing Rock?
Yes, he was. Kai was chilling out near the saloon, talking to the owner, not just to pass out flyers and promo the carnival, but to also see on the sly if there were any Johns available, if anybody was looking for something like that.
Sure. And the owner will come out. and chat with you. It's where is it on my list of things? I wrote down the name of the owner. There it is. Selma is her name. She is looks like she's in her 30s. She has dark hair. So it's not like visually quote unquote open per se, but she will let you in if you want to come in. She's like, you want to? Hey, Heather, you want a cup of coffee or something?
Or something. Cup of coffee sounds wonderful. I also have some of these, and he's going to hold up some flyers. We're new in town, staying for a couple of days. Maybe you can hang them up. Big smile.
She takes them and she looks at them. And she nods. She says, "Oh, that's interesting."
Yeah, it's been a while since we've been through here, but we were here. Oh, damn! How long ago were we here?
Oh, yeah. I wasn't around here back then, so I don't know. But yeah, I've heard that you folks came through something like around the turn of the century or something.
Yes, back when we had a different owner.
Yeah. Yeah, we can put a couple of these up. I saw you kind of hanging outside greeting folks. And she's sort of like, she's sort of wiping down the bar. You looking for anything here in particular?
Yes. I was just wondering if you know of people who are looking for a certain kind of companionship.
I'm going to make a roll real quick just to see something. Okay, good. She'll nod slowly as she seems to take your meaning. And she says, I see. We don't actually have a lot of that happening. Well, we have some. No one's really, it's usually they have folks who make a bit of a circuit, but I know none of them are here this weekend, so you're probably safe if you want to do that. Just so you'll know, though, you're looking to meet folks in here?
No, not in the establishment. I have my own place.
Okay, all right. I'm just saying, it's be a little careful where you want to go doing that. Just because, I mean, I do have an arrangement with the folks that are normally through, and I can do something similar with you if you want. It's we just want to make sure that however you're setting up for it, there's no, shall we say, no trouble in the overlap.
Trust
You
me.
think my meaning?
Trust me, I'm a professional. I do this quite often. There won't be any trouble.
Okay. If you would like to meet folks here, we do have we got we got a couple of rooms that are a little more private. If you want to make arrangements that way, normally when I have folks come through that are into that particular business, my cut is 10% if they want to use the establishment to help them out.
Kai just holds out a hand. Deal.
All right then. She shakes. And what was your name again?
Mordecai, but you can call me Kai.
Pleasure to meet you, Kai.
It's good
You
to
can
meet
call me
you.
Selma. Yeah. Selma Diaz. You can call me Selma. I think this is gonna. I think we're going to get along fine.
I think so too.
One thing, though, and she says, and she's still holding onto your hand just slightly, she says, one thing also I do request is discretion about any other business you may see. Can I count on you for that?
Of course. And give me 1 second here. I want to, like, my D&D instinct is to say insight check.
Yeah, you can roll notice.
Yeah, give me a second here. I need to examine my screen. There we go.
7, okay. She doesn't seem to. This is the interesting thing. It doesn't look sinister. She just seems to be firm about it. She definitely has. There's some sideline that she has going on here as well, and it's probably not too. Given the context and given this is a 19, the time it is and where it is and what you learned yesterday. It probably has to, if you had to guess, you'd say it probably has to do with alcohol. That being, this is a bar that cannot serve drinks because it is a dry county.
Yeah.
Though much of the rest of the country is drinking away. Here they cannot. So that she probably just wants to make sure that you're not getting in the way of any of those activities where they're trying to sell drinks, or that you get in the way of. Yeah, you've encountered enough, and you've been in enough towns, I'd say, that basically you'll recognize she's probably not a quote unquote a heavy of any kind, but she might be connected to someone who is, and so. You just don't want to get in the way of the leg breakers. That's basically the kind of the subtext that you're getting here.
Easy. No problem.
All right. And as that handshake is going on. Mm-hmm. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so Kai's just going to say he's just going to, like, hang around, finish up his cup of coffee, observe his surroundings, like, not immediately vanish.
Okay. Sure, yeah. No, you get to hang out for a bit and you can kind of check out some of the folks coming and going. Again, the good, majority of the town are working like 10 miles away at the Hexaco plant. But the ones that are still in town, you can kind of keep an eye on. This is a good place. This is a good spot to keep an eye on people, actually, from. You realize. So that's definitely a thing to note. And again, fairly centrally located in the sort of edge of the entertainment district as it goes. So it's, but let's see. Okay. We're going to. I think we will. Yes, I think that's the order of things. We're going to light upon Richard now. As you have seen this you see this person. And it's actually, did I say it's Lazarus Martin? Lazarus is the first name, Martin is the last. Okay. I didn't know whether it was Martin Lazarus or Lazarus Martin. I now know it's Lazarus Martin. That's what I get for not looking constantly at the thing while I'm talking. So, your mentor, Lazarus Martin, is wearing the clothes of a reverend as he is coming out of this church. He is talking to. I'm going to say, and I didn't mention this earlier, but he was talking to that young boy, Jarrett, who was in there, this acolyte, for a moment, and he's just sort of, and then he spots you. And he just stares at you for a moment, and then he turns and he says, and you can kind of hear, you see he says something to the boy, and the boy is like, just sort of nods and turns and walks off. And
probably
he just
stare back. Not saying anything, like baffled stare.
He just gives you kind of a significant look, and then looks left and right, and then he turns, and he goes back into the church.
I'll follow him.
Okay. So, you head in, and you see basically that's there's that it looks like they just had services here not long ago, and they're probably, let's see, it's Friday, so they're not really going to be doing much else at this point, but he's just sort of cleaning up a few things sort of near the pulpit. And he looks as he's just sort of finishing that up, and he just sort of nods again with his head, and he heads over toward a little area, sort of a little nook in the side area of the church.
Yeah, I'll follow him there.
So you head over, and there are a couple of benches, and he's like,
well, first of all, you're alive.
in a manner of speaking, what are you doing here?
I could probably ask the same of you.
This is a terrible idea. Do you have to be here right now?
Yeah, I do.
He sits down and he gestures for you to sit next to him.
Yeah, I'll sit.
And he just sort of looks at you. He looks actually slightly pained as he's looking at you. You can tell that he wants to reach up. He wants to be more gregarious, but he's always been very controlled about that kind of thing. If need be, it's like, so he's like, I got to say, this comes as a heck of a surprise.
Yeah.
It's not I wish it were a better time.
So do I.
This ain't a great place to be, Richard. This is not a great place to be right now.
Yeah, I kind of figured that out. I'm with the carnival. It's coming through.
Oh, you're gonna join the circus.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's kind of a place to go.
hell, that's maybe what I should have done. Yeah. How much do you
How'd you
know
get
about
out?
what's going on here? Come again.
How'd you get out?
Yeah. You look like you've been through a lot.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it.
So you're kind of torn here. I want to know what happened to you, but at the same time, it might not be the safest thing for you to tell me. I'm going to be honest.
All right.
Something you need to know is that when we parted ways, the only way that I could keep breathing, the only way that I could keep things then in a way is to you continuing to be at liberty was that I had to go back to work. You understand me? I'm working right now.
Yeah, I got you.
And there's stuff afoot here that's, well, as I'm seeing it, things are starting to add up, and they are not adding up to anything good. What things?
Kind of it's the same, yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, and perhaps fortunately for you, the folks I'm working with can't do anything until something happens.
Gotcha.
They can't step in. Me, I'm here watching. That's what they set me to. There's, but I don't want to drag you into this.
I think I might already be in this.
Don't suppose your carnival is coming here?
As much as I've vouched for it not to, yeah.
Yeah, I saw one of the flyers. I mean, were I you, I'd try and get him to move on, because here's the thing. Something goes down here, then, you know, my people are going to be down and all over it. All over the place. Don't know if it'll be in time. Maybe I've had kind of a problem with that lately. But don't want you or any of your other people to get caught up in that.
Yeah.
Sounds to me, though, just from the way you're talking, it might be more complicated than that, though. Am I guessing right?
Yeah. I don't exactly hold individual sway over whether they settle down here or not, so.
Okay. See, yeah, we can't. That's the problem, is sort of the way that we work. We can't just, you know, go riding in and go riding in, shooting, and then demanding to see what's wrong. We're not the Rangers. But although I suppose if you are stuck here, you can. I don't want, no. I don't want,
It's fine. I've been through a lot more than you think. A lot happened to
sounds like
Ben and now.
All right. Well, actually, yeah, no, we're just gonna keep going. All right. I was gonna have you roll something, and I thought, no. I think we're just getting there. Like, you ever heard of Faminites?
Can't say I have, no.
It's kind of what they call them. These, they ain't quite dead. They're not like, they're not quite like, Walking Dead, but they're,
They have long claws. Look.
yeah,
They eat
there's certain
them.
similarities to certain types of dead that are still moving around. But
Yeah,
they're not quite, but they're still alive. That's the thing. They just sort of, you so slowly turn into them.
Yeah, I think we encountered one of those the other night.
Yeah.
Dealt with it.
they're insidious because of how long it takes, but to turn into one. But they also they have.
Mind if I pop in for a second?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
We've hit 20 retreats on our go live, so now we get to have some sort of story thing or boon come up.
Clues, more clues.
Yeah.
Okay, well then he pulls the file out of his pocket. No. So he's gonna say, well, here's the lowdown. All right, as far as we can understand, there are. Was set to watch this place because it's kind of what they call some folks call a gate. This place has kind of been standing open ever since, well, the last time your carnival came through.
You said a gate to what?
That's what they call the hunting grounds sometimes. But it ain't exactly stable, and it's in the middle of a burning mine, so it's not like you can just go pop in and out whenever you please. But we have reason to believe that there's a significant clutch of there's a handful of practitioners about in this area, and we think they might be the source of these faminites that have been springing up.
Gotcha.
The
Do they identify themselves in any way? Anything that pops up?
well, one thing you can that puts them off. That's the interesting thing, is that they sometimes, if you can tell if they're turning through, there's certain kinds of if you have certain means of seeing into other things, seeing into other places, sometimes they'll show up with sort of reflective eyes. I know we've got back at the agency headquarters, they got some cameras that'll do that kind of thing. Highly unstable things, though. They still haven't quite figured out how to get an etheric camera to work properly without, eventually having an effect on people. But that's one way, to see it if you don't have the sight, as it were, which some folks do as well. So that'll sometimes be a signifier of it happening to them. But that's the problem, is that when it happens, they're just going to get real hungry, and then they're probably people who are already real hungry. They're already people on the verge of starving to death, but they get to the point that when they turn, lips pull back, teeth get sharp, and they go after whatever they can, and that's when pretty much they stop discriminating again as to what they're going to eat. Doesn't have they actually, you can, if you throw regular food at them, that can stop them for a little while, because it doesn't have to be human flesh, but let's just say they get a hankering for it.
Gotcha. Does this have any relation to them? And he'll just take out a piece of paper and just sketch the symbol that he's seen on it, show it to him.
Looks down. Let me actually pull up his stats real quick, so that I can.
The internet
I
tells
think
me
I'm
that
gonna
means
have
he
him
can die.
Yes, that's right. He can be killed because he has stats. Although, I mean, to be fair, even stone has stats in the Savage Worlds edition of this game. But let me see. Where's the thing? Where's the thing? Personalities. There it is. Actually, I have this in here. There we go. Lazarus Martin. Cult for me. Oh. Okay, he did pretty well. Yeah, he got a raise. And so as he's looking it over, he's like, yeah. Yeah, and so just to be clear, which symbol is this that's on that you've drawn on the paper here? Just so I can
this would be the familiar one that he has, the one that's kind of like sketched, that was like chiseled into the ground that the family refused to go past, as well as I think it's the same one on the display.
Yeah, it was there was a similar one on the door. It was a little bit different. Gotcha. So I was just curious which one it was. Okay, so if it's the one from the lot, he's looking at is like, yeah, it's well, yeah. Some folks in there's the School of Black Magic uses that as a symbol of warden. That's he nods. They use that to they use that to keep out things like like the beings we were just talking about. It can get hard for certain types of creatures to cross over a boundary that's got things like that. They usually do that to, from what I understand, to protect their rituals.
Interesting. Do all these symbols do the same thing?
Well, if they got variations. Depends on what it is. You got more?
Yeah, and he'll sketch down the one that he saw at the hospital.
Huh. Interesting. You see how that line there's in a little bit different place up there?
Yeah.
It's yeah. See, so he points to your original drawing. See that one, the one you found out, that first one you showed me, is to keep things out. This one that you just drew is to keep things in.
Gotcha. I might have one more. And he will draw the symbol from long, long ago, which he definitely can't forget that one.
Ah, yes, that one. Just a moment whilst I pull up a thing real quick. As I'm remembering the nature of what was going on in the long ago. I'll find you here. I think I have you here. Because it does have a certain significance. It has a certain significance that I want to make sure we have together here. Here it is. Here it is. So, yeah, you're sort of, as you're looking at it, your mind is going to kind of drift back to a moment when you saw this on the wall of a bank. You remember that it was was shortly after finding the dead people in said bank. So Lazarus looks at it and is like, yeah, I haven't seen that one in a while. Interesting. That's not good. You seen that around here anywhere?
Not around here, no.
Its intention is kind of twofold. It's kind of a thing of a transfer of power, so they say. There's certain kinds of spirits, demons out there that are attracted to certain kinds of sacrifices. So, for example, if you're trying to attract a demon of, and around here, I mean, you could draw one and attract a demon of starvation probably pretty quickly. But that's attracted to starvation and that kind of thing. But yeah. You want to tell me where you saw that or what was going on?
Yeah, it was after we parted ways. I found somewhere to stay and kind of got roped up in a gang. And turns out they weren't exactly everything that I thought them to be. They managed to get me to act as a lookout in a bank heist, small town, so. And, some people died, and I looked into the vault, and, yeah. They were, drawing that on their foreheads and from the blood of the bodies. Yeah.
Avarice. Greed, avarice. That could be a problem. I'm not completely sure. There might be something like that coming. I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some research.
All right.
Of course, it's gonna take me a little time. I've got to, I got to be Reverend Watson.
Yeah.
But, when I get a chance, I'll see if I can figure anything out, because that strikes a definite chord. There was supposed to be, I remember hearing tell of something, and it's not quite coming to mind, some kind of spirit or spirits of greed or avarice that were supposed to be circling around at some point. I can't remember. I can't quite put my finger on it. I'm gonna have to go back and see if I can find anything out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen. I don't think it'd be. Listen. I don't think that it's going to be a great idea for people to see us talking. But do you remember how we used to talk? Sometimes when we needed to?
Yeah, I remember that.
You think you're still up to being able to do that? If you have if you get an emergency or something like that?
Yeah, I'll probably do that.
Okay. All right. So, something big. You can do that, but be careful. Like I said, there's practitioners around. Otherwise, we'll try and meet with you. We can try and meet again either maybe sometime tonight or tomorrow. Well, we've got an evening service. It's not, but after that, I should be all right if we need to meet back up. But we can use
Gotcha.
the. There's you leave me a message. There's we can use that, and he just sort of points to a little sort of there's a little sort of a whole it's a little sort of stand for holy water with a sort of attached to a kind of a cabinet like thing. Says, you can leave me messages inside that cabinet if you need to otherwise. All right.
Can do.
All right. Well, I'll let you know as soon as I've got anything else. All right.
All right.
It's good
Glad
to see
you're
you. Under
Yeah.
better
Glad you're not
circumstances.
dead.
Me too. Very much so. He kind of claps you on the shoulder.
Probably want to exit this room one at a time so they don't see us walking out together. You can go first. I'm just going to hang here for a bit.
All right. He gets up and he will head out.
Once he's out of the room, Richard will probably just like take off his hat and the bandana under it, and anyone in the room, which there's no one, would notice he has a perfectly bald head, just like Lazarus, and he'll just kind of like put his hand in his head, or his head in his hands, and try to get the thought of what happened out of his mind. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to now shift back over. We had Piper and Willow were also both going through different parts of town. As I recall, Piper was looking through the entertainment district, trying to understand, sort of the vibe of the area and sort of what other entertainments are happening. I assume you're sort of trying to make contact with other local, other sort of either entertainers or other businesses to see if get them to kind of help play along. And there's not a lot of local entertainments per se that happen as a matter of course. You've got there's like a so it's mostly like as far as what people do here for fun, it's mostly like pool halls and there's like a pool hall. There's a there's like a little there's a small amusement gallery. There are there's a bar. There's also a dance hall, and you find out there's a society that there's a local dance society that basically will they get together and they regularly do they will put on performances. They're usually dance-based things in the theater, and that's most of it.
Yeah, I think Piper would kind of fixate more on either the pool hall or the theater dance troupe. I think that's where she would probably end up chatting with most folk.
Yeah. So I think that as you're kind of chatting with people, you're going to as you're kind of sort of hanging out, I think at the let me see, what are we going to see here? Actually, you tell me what you see. Make a notice roll. We'll find out.
I can do that. All right, notice.
10. Okay. So, there is, among other things, you find there is a. So you figured out two things, at the very least, as you have as you have been just sort of hanging out and schmoozing with people. One is you think you've just about sorted out where that this is one of the hubs for this pool hall is one of the minor hubs for the local liquor operation. And they have a definite connection, you think, just from the people you've kind of chatted with, who just sort of kind of are like, when you mentioned you've been to the candy shop, they're like, oh yeah, you've been to the candy shop, right? You get the sense that that's like, apparently the candy shop is where the line of distribution starts. And
Okay.
then it moves through things. So you know that there are, from what you understand, and you see a couple of thuggish-looking people, carrying casks. So it's not too difficult to figure that out.
Yeah.
They don't have
I assume in the montage, like, Piper, like, all, like, cute and giggly and, like starts smoking a cigarette next to, like, the thugs who she's trying to, like, schmooze information from at some point. Like, she's more so, like, now understanding what's happening, trying to get into, like, everybody's, like, know-it-all instead of passing out flyers. Like, she probably still has, like, a full stack of flyers in her hand and really hasn't, like, passed many of them out.
Yeah, no, totally. So you're able to, you're definitely able to get in there, and it's basically from what you've been able to tell, apparently the guy that runs the candy shop apparently is like one of the main distributors.
Okay.
Norman Wallace, the first Norman the Greater.
We shall call him Norm.
Cool.
Yeah,
The norm by which all others are judged.
that's right. Norm Prime.
Precisely, Norm Prime. That's his last name.
And you also hear that they seem to have a rivalry of some kind going on with another gang that seems to do protection as kind of a thing.
Okay.
But they try to they generally try to try to keep from getting into open conflict with them. But this
Can I get a beat on any more information about this other gang? Like,
I think
who's kind of in charge of it, or who is a person of notoriety?
Yeah, definitely. This is kind of a in Savage Worlds, and which this kind of originated with Deadlands Noir. Is there's a sort of hitting the streets type deal thing that you can do to go around and ask, basically, find things out. And the version of it seems to me you're doing is the one where you use persuasion.
Yeah.
So you can either use persuasion or intimidation typically for these things. And I would have. Mhm.
Yeah, I'll use persuasion because I have a D6 in persuasion.
Yeah, go ahead and make a persuasion check for me, and we'll see how much else you're able to find out. So that's a 5.
Okay.
And so, you're able to very basically, you're able to find out some very basic info. And that apparently, sort of about their territory. It's kind of on the more the northeast end of town, and it apparently stops. Apparently, no one ever ventures into the old rail depot. That's there was a rail depot in town that has been abandoned. That
Cool.
is apparently they know the members of this gang know not to go over there.
Okay, cool.
Basically, because it's really bad news.
Illustrious Ghost Manager, we have here our
Yes.
sub goal. So I've been informed by Kobold number 7 I'm supposed to bully you into give us a major plot reveal.
Ah,
Yeah.
excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
Well then, in that case,
Thank you, all of you.
we will unfurl that shortly. That will be unfurled during the session. There will be a major plot reveal. So, a major
Could you do the laugh like?
revelation.
Hmm.
So yes, basically that's definitely, yeah. So you find out that that's kind of an area that it's not really, you shouldn't really be hanging around. And I think we're gonna briefly. I'm gonna go over now also to Willa, as you have been out and about in sort of more town center, trying to sort of find out things. And it's going to be getting. I think by the time we get through this, it's going to be getting close to in game time. It's going to be getting close to 1 o'clock, so which is when you're supposed to go and meet the train. So from what I understand, you were looking around, just sort of canvassing neighborhoods, trying to find. Now you have not found a single little old lady in the requisite shawl color.
Somewhere.
But
Eventually, I'll find you.
Oh no, God. Nat, don't give him ideas.
But as you have been asking around, kind of sort of in search of such things. Well, first off, is there anything else you've been also doing, or has this primarily just been the little old lady hunt?
This has been the little old lady hunt. That sounds so ominous. But I'm also just flyering for the carnival as I go, trying to like 2 birds, 1 stone, efficient use of time, all that good stuff.
All right, so I'm going to have you also make a persuasion roll, so we can see kind of how you do as you are hitting the streets here.
Okay, let's see. I don't like that. I think I'm going to use a Benny to re-roll that because I only got a 4 and I want to be very persuasive.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that is a success, but if you want to go ahead and see if you can go for a raise, absolutely.
That's the idea. I was like, I have a D6 here. I might as well try. 5. Okay, I want to use 1 more.
Okay.
I really, really, really want to find something that, yes, there we go.
There we go.
Confirms my, there's an 11. Perfect.
Excellent. So, there comes the point where, as you are, you have been looking around, you've been looking and hunting for, this, and sort of kind of, I assume, also asking around a little bit about, like, if you've seen anyone with wearing that kind of shawl and scarf. And you do find out that apparently this morning, kind of probably around the time that you were in the hospital, apparently there was such a little old lady that was amidst a group of folks that were visiting were visiting the town hall.
Oh, just missed him. I was just there.
That where there was you were just there a little bit, but it was So while you were out there, there was a point where they were where they had been visiting. It's not actually. I'm trying to think if there's this kind of little community center type deal that's kind of just behind the town hall that you hear, and that's where they they go. Sometimes apparently there is a community gathering thing where They hold a number of drives, and they will sometimes, give like food and clothing type deal to folks. And that apparently someone does remember seeing, and you meet this kid, basically, who he looks like he's about 13, 14, who will tell you that he did see, it doesn't take much to get him talking. He talks about a lot of things. He talks about the idea that there are invaders from another world. He talks about the idea that there are witches in town. He talks about the idea that the reverend of the church is a spy, and among the things that he talks about are this he did see this little lady who did kind of look like a witch, that was wearing gray shawl, red scarf, leaving with the other folks, the other poor folks that were at that weekly drive that was held this morning.
Did you happen to see her hanging around the hospital area at all? Like, is she a regular at these drives? Does she ever go anywhere else in the town?
And he'll say, well, I'm not sure. I probably seen her before. Hospital, no, I don't go around there, but I know that a lot of the same old folks usually show up to the drives. I think she's one of them.
Yeah. Do you know where she stays when she's not there?
Oh yeah, she's up in that Hooverville, just on the north end.
All right. I think that's where I'm gonna go next. But before I do, remember, kid, the War of the Worlds was a radio drama. It wasn't real, okay? Like, there weren't any aliens that were actually gonna invade Earth. It was a fiction. It's okay to enjoy those and have fun, but it's not real aliens, okay?
I'm telling you, I heard there's aliens over in Devil's Tower up in the Dakotas. That's what I heard.
All right. Just remember what I said, kid. Remember, there's a difference between reality and fiction. Thanks for your help. Don't forget to come to the carnival, okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna go to the north end of town here.
All right. So, as you're heading to the north end of town, I just want to take a quick canvas here, as we're getting near halftime. So I just want to check out and figure out, see if I can recall where if folks are going to continue lingering in the areas they have been, or are going to convert.
Right, because we have to meet the train.
Yeah, the train's coming to town, right?
The train's going to be coming soon. So
yeah, I would totally meet the train before their investigation.
Same.
All right. So does everyone come together are you just going to show up at the train stop, or are you going to meet up?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Piper would go straight to the train stop, so.
Yeah, so
the train stop's kind of far out, right?
So a little bit of a hike. You can get there on foot. It's not maybe quarter of a mile, at the most.
Okay.
So it's not too bad.
It's not meet at the car and drive there.
Yeah. But if you want to take the truck, I will not blame you.
I keep forgetting we're playing at a time where vehicles are like around. So I'm like, we'll just go.
And there's things like electricity and gasoline and what is this?
They've got telephones and everything.
Look at all these newfangled inventions.
Who shows up first?
So yes, you you all kind of come around to the train stop. In preparation, you get there just like you have a few minutes before the train is coming in. That will be carrying Max's show. You've all sort of see each other as you approach this stop.
Oh, Willa,
Yes, what's up?
I found your old woman.
Oh, perfect. I found a lead on her. Was she up by the North Field?
No, I'm by the south. Well, the lot.
Stupid kid, good for nothing. I tell you, the sooner we never set up this carnival in this town again, the happier I will be. I'm determined that we will see this through to the end, but I am never coming back here. So what do you have to say?
Well, oh, please, something else.
On that note, I'd like again to suggest that we tell her to move on, not to stay here.
I think that's a bad idea, Richard. We really can't afford that.
Yeah.
It's while I was out searching, I didn't find the woman, but I did find something else. For the sake of their safety and ours, I'm not going to tell you who it is. But they said there's some really bad stuff going on here.
It wasn't our mutual friend from our Rangers, was it?
No, it wasn't.
Good.
But
Like my heart skipped a beat there for a second.
yeah, he's not here. At least not as far as I know. But there's some really bad things going on here. There's black magic involved. There's, and you'll kind of look around, make sure no one else is around. There's creatures that we saw last night. Apparently, there's more of them, and there's something called a gate. I don't know what he's talking about, exactly what it is, but
That sounds delightfully ominous.
Just a gate here in this town that's like causing whatever those creatures were to pour in here. Like I just had this conversation with the kid too.
it's in the mines.
She just sort of puts her head in her hands and is like muttering a little bit.
You're saying it's where that all-consuming fire is that just isn't going to stop?
Yeah. To look around again, and considering he works for the federal government, I think he probably knows what he's talking about.
So what do we do about it? I mean,
We're
do we
not
just
exactly-
tell her to move on, or do we just try to solve it ourselves?
I mean, we're not exactly equipped to go down into a mine and deal with that, but
I mean, I'm
Say
not
we-
trying to say that's what we do. I'm just trying to say if we have to stay here, we gotta at least take some precaution, right?
I think precaution is wise. I'm not sure if we should lead a quest to go down into the mines or anything. I think that would be a
Saying
terrible
that, I
idea.
just don't think it's safe for the carnival to set up
Well,
here.
We don't need to fix this broken town's problems. We just need to spend a weekend here. An amount of time similar to
We
the
need to
time we've already been here,
survive.
might remind you, and we're not dead. And then we need to leave after making some money.
Well, hopefully the town doesn't die off before we end up taking all their money. We gotta
That's the
survive
thing.
the
That would be
weekend
quite
and move
sad.
on.
He
well,
thinks
if it
something's-
does,
I think something's big's coming. I'd probably agree with him. I've had a bad feeling about this place since we got here.
So what would you do?
have
We
I,
just
but
what would you do? We
Sorry.
just ship on to the train, take the truck, and leave, and what?
Yeah. Go to the next town.
maybe we should wait until we get the chance to talk to God, I'm
The
totally
boss lady?
blanking on her name now. Yeah,
Maxine?
Maxine. It is Maxine. Okay, I was like, Max was her father. Really, wait a minute and just talk to Maxine about this, and then make this decision, since we haven't really come to anything resembling a consensus in the time that we've been here. That way, we can
If we're
get a
talking about the
tiebreaker
same
or something.
Maxine, if we're talking about the same Maxine we all know, I don't think she's gonna care.
Also, I don't
we're
think
kind
we
of
have much of a
screwed.
choice.
You
It's
can
her
hear the train
carnival,
coming.
please.
I still think we should stay, but it's an option. It's an option that we have.
We don't really have a choice. Maxine is the one going to make the call. She's the owner of the carnival, and Maxine would want to stay. So we can try to change her
think-
mind.
I think it's right simple. Richard, you'll tell Maxine what you found out, and Maxine will make a call. We'll just lay it all on the table. No tricks.
And we can still take as many precautions as we need to. I'm willing to let you take, point on that, but I don't know if we can afford, like everybody's saying, to just skip this one.
Well, if you know what's coming, Richard, then maybe you know how to stop it more so than any of us. And the precautions that we're talking about, maybe there's actually something we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what this is, right?
Not entirely.
Oh. Well then.
But that means you do have some idea.
Yeah, it's something evil. I don't know exactly what. He mentioned, I don't know, something about a hunting grounds. That's the
Do we have a
gate
name?
to that. Of
Jim, can I make an occult roll to see if I know what the heck he's talking about?
With respect to the hunting grounds
Just like in general.
in general, yeah, you can go ahead and make an occult roll. In the meantime, I will mention everyone can now see the train coming.
Yep.
Well,
That is
a
high number.
That's
That is
really
a very
high.
high number. That's 3 raises. Okay. So quick note about hunting grounds. It's essentially like a plane of existence that is a little more perceptual. That's one of the names for it that people sometimes use. The term hunting grounds was borrowed from the Native Americans by and large, but it's essentially, from what you have heard and read, when you enter the hunting grounds, which is those who do it usually, sometimes there are folks who figure out how to sort of spiritually go there, and then there's the possibility that there are gates that go there. It is a thing where you will see whatever you conceive of as something like the afterlife. And there will usually be a path that you can go in one direction or the other. And typically for most folks, from Western religions, it's a lot of up or down that happens. Some folks will see it as like a Mount Zion type deal, some as a mountain, some will see it as like a big path that they're following. But the idea is that is where apparently a great deal of demons or Manitous exist. There are powerful things in the hunting grounds that do not have direct access to this place, but in areas where the veil is thinner, as it were, they have some. And so spirits, demons, things of that nature can go. It's easier for some minor spirits to get through. Sometimes major spirits get through. If there's a gate, then It depends on the kind of gate as to whether or not it'd be, because they're not always like, you just step through type deal. Maybe sometimes incorporeal creatures can go back and forth. If the gate is as you're kind of thinking, like the gate you saw in your picture, then it probably would not be safe for most for a human being to try to go in there to try to go through, and it might not be quite that easy. It's always also not always a literal gate. Sometimes something else has to happen. But yeah, this basically means that this is an area where a lot of energies could be focused, and you could do things you can't normally do in other places.
Okay. Mordecai sits on that because we don't have the time.
So yes, trains getting ready to pull up. You folks have got like maybe less than a minute. If there's anything else you want to do or say.
I kind of like make my way around next to Feldon and kind of do one of the like taps on the shoulders to like lean into his ear and just go, "If your flask is running low, I think I solved that problem today." And she just like
Wonderful.
like smile and just go back to making like the round back to standing next to Willa.
Okay. So the train pulls in and stops. And a few people are getting off. And they are stepping down from the train and either walking or they're being met by, there are a couple other folks with cars here, that kind of deal, that are meeting them and driving them into town or driving them somewhere else. And amidst this, you hear this voice that is unmistakable, coming from one of the cars, and she says, "Well, give me a minute. I haven't told you to pick that up and follow me with it. I'll tell you if you need to. It'll be just fine. If you can you look at a clock? Can you? Then you can stand there, right there, my dear handsome fellow, and just wait until I come back to tell you what to do with that piece of luggage. All right? There's a good boy." And
While hearing that, Feldon will kind of snake behind Richard while lighting a cigarette and go, "You're up, boy."
Maxine Salem steps off the train. She is in her 40s. She has red hair that is pulled back. She has a bit of a small top hat on her head. She wears a very loud overcoat with buttons on it. It is and a striped vest underneath. And pants. She wears generally, she's wearing her traveling pants, but she generally wears pants. As she steps out, carrying sort of a bag on one in one hand and a cane in the other. That's kind of a bit of an affectation because her father carried a cane. He needed the cane. She doesn't. But Maxine steps off and looks around and who's standing in front?
Probably be Richard, because I guess.
Yeah, I think it's Richard.
Yeah,
And he comes
Richard,
for-
let's be real.
And she looks over you. She seems to be like sort of tutting, and she looks, again at her. She's got a pocket watch. She closes and she puts away, and she looks up. "Richard, darling, how good to see you." And she steps forward, and we'll come and clap you on the shoulder, and she will look over and at the others. "Willa, have you been keeping them all in line?"
Oh, everybody's been just fine here. Nothing that we can't handle, I don't think.
Excellent. Good. I like to hear that because that bodes well, I think, for our little enterprise. So tell me, do they have what we need?
Richard, take it away.
Well, the rest of the group does not agree with me on this. I do not think we should set up here. I think it would be dangerous for the carnival to do so. There's
Dangerous?
Yeah.
How so?
Well, I'll look around, make sure no one else is listening apart from the group.
Yeah, it's basically this group, and she's still, she's looking at the watch and looking back up, and well, you got all of 5 minutes to explain it to me, and before I got to go back in and tell them yay or nay.
Last night, we were attacked by a creature, and upon further investigation, I have discovered from someone, and for the sake of safety, I'm not going to mention who that is, someone who thinks there's something really awful going on here.
Oh.
And incredibly dangerous, and this is someone I would trust with my life, so...
Oh, well, that's par for the course in this place. It's been a little while. What did they say? What's happening?
Well, they mentioned something about a gate to the hunting grounds. Not exactly sure what that is, but as well as demons and black magic. And what were the creatures called again? Is it Ravenite? No, that's different.
Ammonite.
Fammonite.
Ammonites. Okay, Ravenite's wild now. And a creature is called Fammonites.
Huh.
At this point, Mordecai is going to chime in. And those things come from the gates that we have been warned about, and from the plane of hunger, and that he goes on and explains. Brief, 1 minute rundown.
Yeah. She listens, she's like,
Black magic, danger, but they do have a good economy here.
Well, on the one hand, that could be of help. On the other hand, the thing is that in some ways that sounds like our usual Saturday night. So,
That's kind of what I was thinking.
yes. I'm going to, let me see here. How do we, yeah. Maxine takes a second. She looks at the watch. She closes it. I'm not sure I can fully explain this right now, but that especially in light of what you just told me, there's a particular need for us to be here at this time. You may recall, and she says, leaning in, there have been times when I've had to go around to places occasionally cleaning up Dad's messes. This is one of those times.
All right.
This gate needs to close.
And how exactly shall we help close the gates?
Well, I've got a few ideas. We'll have to see we need to learn a little bit more about the precise nature of what's going on than 5 minutes is going to tell me. So I'm afraid we're going to need to hang out here for a bit, or at least to try to get through the weekend. I think that what you've told me means that it's more important than ever that we do stay, because this has to be stopped.
Excellent.
It certainly has to be stopped. I mean, I don't exactly know what this is or what we're stopping, but yeah. Okay. Well,
All right. Well, good to know then. And she leans back into the car. All right, my dear fellow, you can go ahead and bring it out. Trudy, get him rolling. And you hear loud yelling from another voice inside as your lead roustabout, Trudy Tam, begins getting people to start offloading. And it is more or less at this point that a cavalcade of people of all shapes and sizes emerges from this train. Most of them, virtually all of them, known to you, as the members of the traveling carnival disembark. Some of them having larger setups in the in the box cars, some to bring out, and they start basically rolling out, bringing their various things, their various wares, a little army of carnies, as it were, step out and start carrying all manner of things, all manner of very brightly colored banners and basically setup kits, personal trunks, suitcases, all manner of things as they step forward onto the road, and many of them coming out and greeting you as they do, and they begin heading toward the town. Maxine basically at this point is going to sweep you all up with a single gesture of her arms to march alongside her as she's heading in. And she's going to start rapid fire asking Willa a series of questions that are kind of the usual fare for when they're starting to set up, like, location of the lot. Did we get the permits set up? Did we get permits set up for the parade tomorrow morning? That kind of deal. Vending licenses, that kind of situation.
yep, everything usual, all taken care of.
Excellent, excellent. I don't suppose there's any chance we might have, as I know this county is a tad dry, we didn't by any chance make any friendly relations with any folks trying to subvert that around, have we?
Piper
Lord
kind of
Highland.
like runs up at
Yeah.
this point, and she's like, well, Maxine, I think I figured that out. I think I got
That
some
I
for
speak,
us.
Excellent news, because among other things, I could use a drink.
Kai speaks up as well. I've also have a couple of arrangements set in place. He shoots her a wink.
Good. Oh, good. That's so good. Excellent. That's actually going to help out quite a lot, because you're going to be in actually a quite good position to hear things, which is going to be, I gather, rather important given everything that's going on. I'm making sure that we've got secure. We've been talking a little bit to our security folks, but Richard, if you wouldn't mind, go around and make sure you give them at least an impression that this is going to be one of those, shall we say, Halloween situations.
Gotcha.
Thing happened last Halloween that we will not get into detail about on this stream, but there was a lot.
Always, every time.
Always Halloween.
It's always Halloween.
Only 364 days till the next Halloween.
Not even that. I mean, it's April now, but we'll see.
The lot was gifted to us, granted our use by the hotel owner, a little bit of an odd character. You probably want to shake his hand. We also got spotted a few rooms at the hotel while we're at it, if you'd like to take advantage.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. Definitely want to check that fellow out. Um, so, yes, you're all kind of en masse moving the carnival through town toward the south lot. You're kind of, well, yeah, it's one of those things where, and you're kind of keeping, you're not walking like straight down the street itself, although you probably could, given that there's not a lot of traffic right now. But yeah, Maxine likes to make sure that everyone knows when the carnival arrives in town, and you have basically the band leader Lou has started playing as their kind of is playing his trombone as they're heading through. You have someone with an organ grinder who is using it, and of course, as you're sort of moving through, you have vendors and other carnival acts essentially coming through. The people will come out and they'll look and they'll spot, and you see people chatting with each other. And a lot of, thanks to your good work, a lot of them have seen the flyers that have come about. Eventually, as you get close to the south lot, that vacant lot, this is when Trudy runs up to the front, just sort of appears there, because she seems to have she moves fast. You wouldn't think it to look at her, as she's, she appears to be a dumpy woman in her 40s, but she moves lightning quick, and is immediately yelling at folks at the roustabouts to get the tents set up, and the carts in place, and everything that they need to make ready, and to set up the gate under where Felden has put up the banner, and they're going to get out and start as soon as within the next in about 2 hours time. They'll be ready to start admitting people to come in and buy from the vendors. First night, Friday night, is always vendor night, so there's not a charge to come in. They don't charge people to get in on Friday nights, but they can buy tickets. They get charged to get in Saturday and Sunday. Saturdays there are 2 shows, and Sunday there's a matinee before everyone packs up and moves out. It's typically how this goes. So setup is happening. It is a very controlled chaos that you have seen many, many times. But being in the jobs that you're in, after it's mostly Richard who has to do some stuff during this time, especially just sort of going around. Are there any particular precautions, Richard, you're wanting to make sure everyone is apprised of as they're setting up?
I'll just kind of give them a warning of like, hey, keep a lookout for it. He'll give a general description of what Faminites look like, not specifically Faminites, like, oh, like pale people, their fingernails, people, that kind of stuff. Like, let me know if you see anyone like that sort of thing.
Look out for people with fingernails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
And they do. You tell your second John, who is a little bit sort of taken aback by it, but he's like, okay, and he starts talking to the other folks, and they're setting up and making sure they've got a good eye on the perimeter, kind of where to sort of look at. Do you tell them roughly where the perimeter is of where they should stay inside?
Yeah, I feel like try to stay like over here, not specifically pointing at symbols, but
yeah, sort of within this area of the lot. Got it. Yes, you've attracted a certain amount of attention that is going on, and among the various things that are going on, you will note that that sort of off to the side, that Mr. Taylor, Michael Taylor, has sort of come down after apparently he's just finished giving some sort of speech up on the north end, and he's come out to watch the carnival setting up, and he's just sort of talking to a few. There are a couple of folks here. There's the press is here, by which I mean the one newspaper person is here that he's kind of talking to while the carnival is setting up, and just sort of pointing and sort of like, see, it's my vacant lot, type deal. There is, I think, anyone who is trying to keep an eye on him in particular during this process.
I was gonna go talk to him.
Oh yeah, cool. No.
I do not trust him. Never will.
Okay, so Felden's going to go up and talk to him. Everyone else, I'll say, who is at liberty to do so, may, if they wish, make a notice roll.
Piper has gotten extremely distracted and spotted Petrie, and is now trying to follow Petrie to see what is in his trunk before he sets up for everybody else that can buy. So she's like, "What are the new styles? What did you find?" So yeah, she's super distracted at the moment.
And he's gotten apparently he's gotten in a couple of things that are being made that are kind of duplicates of things from the south of France that he's starting to show as he's getting his clothing booth basically set up. He's got kind of an elaborate setup that he does to try to make people think that they're just stepping into it. That they're quite literally stepping into a to I don't know if this this existed, as though they're kind of stepping into the clothing section of a Harrods, and because he's originally I think Petrie is probably for whatever reason I've decided he's originally from London, and he's just making a sort of big sort of show of setting a lot of things up. Always dresses immaculately, and is just kind of setting things up. He's got a whole sort of little tailoring outfit that he can break down.
Basically she runs to him, is like, "Okay, what's new? All right, I want this, and throws the money at him, shoves the clothes in her backpack, and then
he's very
with everybody else.
Yeah. Oh, you've got it, my love. I knew I needed to set this aside just for you. And he just basically is setting that up.
I have to say, he probably has a selection for her.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, "Okay, picking up my clothes. Bye. See you soon."
All right. So let me check those rolls so that
I used 2 pennies to get that, but it was worth it.
now that I've finished inhabiting the clothier, let's see. We have so Kai got a success, and Richard Luna got a success with 2 raises, and Willa got a success. All right. And Felden is heading over to talk to Michael Taylor. Willa in particular. Well, so Kai and Richard are going to kind of notice that there's a moment when yes. Okay. Why are you doing this to them, Jim? No, it's okay. I can do it. It's all right. Okay, if you insist. So there's a moment with Richard and Kai. You'll see that there's a moment when just sort of across the fairgrounds, you see Michael spots Maxine, and Maxine and waves at her, and she turns and she looks at him sort of like she's like, as though there's something she's trying to remember as she's looking at him. She waves to him, she raises her cane in salute to him. And it's like there is something of an exchange. Willa, you're going to notice that there is. So there's this one woman who you don't know terribly well, who just sort of you think follows the carnival around a lot, and just sort of travels with them. You think she does something with to kind of help with sort of like the direction of some of the acrobats or something. You're not entirely sure exactly what she does because she's not on the payroll. But I mean, But I mean, to be fair, it's Carnival. It's not exactly so much a payroll as it's a put money in the hat type deal.
Right.
So, but you know that she's not one of the salaried employees, of which there are not many. But you've seen her around for quite a while. Usually, you see her kind of, and you've never really talked to her. You occasionally have seen her from a distance, kind of hanging out with Piper. But she will, and you know, she tends to dress as kind of, she dresses up kind of like almost sort of an acrobat type deal. She wears kind of a, so she dresses kind of flashily with sort of this outfit with what looks like sort of flames on them, sort of a phoenix looking motif. And you see her tap Maxine on the shoulder and say something to her. No one else sees this. Willa is the only one who sees this. And you basically know that Maxine's not saying anything, but Maxine is acknowledging her presence and nodding. And she's just basically apparently telling her, you know, she's looking over at Michael and whispering a couple of things. And you see this moment just before Felden gets into where Michael is standing. You see Michael nod and tip his hat and gives a second wave at this woman that is standing next to Maxine. Greetings, Raiders. Coming. Felden, you have approached this group. We have Kulo 109. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for the raid.
Um,
So Felden walks up, and he's going to, he has a light, and he's going to hold out a cigarette and say, "Do you?"
Constantly. And he will, thanks very much.
Yeah, he'll light it and everything. Yeah. Nice of you to come down. Of course, supporting the carnival, supporting public entertainment, always so important.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is a major boon to have it in town. It's really nice to see them here again. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good for everybody to have them here.
And he kind of gauges across the yard to Maxine. He goes, "So, how old was she last time this old guard was around?"
Could you repeat the question real quick? I want to make sure I heard it correctly.
Yeah, so he's looking at Maxine and goes, So, how old was she last time the carnival came through?
Gotcha.
You were there, right?
You ask him, and he says, that's a good question. I would guess probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 8 or 9, maybe.
Yeah, I would guess that too. You know, I would guess there's some odd things going on around here, wouldn't you? Suppose people going hungry and attacking people, people who don't seem to expire when they're supposed to. Ghosts, allegedly, I guess, in the hospital base. and some people whispering about some sort of gate to some ground. I don't really know what they're talking. I guess I don't know what they're talking about. Just one smiling
Oh, a lot
smoker
of
to another. You wouldn't happen to know anything about any of that, would you?
there are a lot of local legends. Depends on kind of what you want to focus on, really. Me, I like to focus on the future, and I think that just the fact that you have things like this happening, it tells me that I think this place is going to have a grand one.
Enjoy the carnival, and if you ever want to talk about those, local legends or anything else that you guess, you know where to find me. They put my face on everything around here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you really want to get into it at some point later on, we can meet up for a drink of something.
That'd be sinfully delightful.
I'm sure it would be. I can pretty much guarantee that.
He takes off his hat with a little spin and bows and takes an exit.
Yeah. All right.
And as he's walking away, he kind of goes, useless. Just to himself.
As you are heading away, he will say, "Oh, by the way, Lord Felden."
Oh, please. You can call me James.
James, pleasure. And he says, "There's Michael." He just sort of looks over his shoulder for a second. He says, "Honestly, the only thing that I just keep a lookout for, just so you're aware, I think someone might have. Did somebody call like animal control or something like that last night?
Something similar to that, yeah.
Okay, just so you know, you might want to keep an eye out because some of the more government higher-ups, I heard this morning, a little bird told me, that some of them might be swooping in a little bit later. So you might want to keep an eye out for that. Some I don't know if you know much about the sort of bunch of busybodies at the FSA.
I have general knowledge on many, many things.
Yeah, they might be. Just a couple of them might be coming around. I mean, they themselves won't be, but I hear tell is there may be another official with them that you might want to look out for. That's going to be the one to keep an eye on.
And Felden's going to take a couple steps forward, and he's going to try to position so he kind of catches his foot on one of those runes etched into the lot. Just to make it look like it wasn't on purpose. He goes, and he looks down at the thing. Goes, what in blazes could that be?
Make a persuasion roll, please.
Okay. I can do that. 8.
Okay. He looks down. Well, sometimes folks. Sometimes folks get some interesting ideas into their heads about how things work. But it's a symbol of protection, from what I understand. It's always good to be protected.
Of course.
Especially in these times. I think it'll make you folks feel safer, if nothing else.
I'm hoping it'll feel safer, but not for... I just, guess that there isn't any abnormal alternative reason that you might want our carnival set up within the bounds of all these weird symbols or anything.
Oh, these? Well,
That's just
you know,
coincidence,
perhaps
right?
an old, maybe I'm being a little superstitious in a way, but let's just say it's kind of important to me that the your carnival be kept perfectly safe.
Michael. You said I could call you Michael, right?
Absolutely.
I hope you do come by later. Maybe for an imbibement. You know, of the, I guess, maybe fun kind.
Oh, I am
like-
looking forward.
I think I like you.
Likewise. We should talk later. There's things I might want to pitch to you, just if you might be interested.
My ears are always open.
Absolutely.
And he will bow again, his fancy magician bow, and spin on his heels, and walk away with a little cane spin.
Awesome. Okay, so the carnival is in process being set up, and some of the vendors are opening. People are coming through, and most of what you all have had to do now, you've kind of at a point where it's now okay. You can rest a little bit now, because the main setup is done, and so your main tasks will start up again early tomorrow morning. So what would you all like to do?
I want to go look for that lady in that Phoenix costume because something about her is sticking in the back of my mind, and I'm just like, I need to figure out what's going on here.
Kai is going to wait until Felden is free and try to get him alone to speak to him whenever you.
That's what I was going to ask for, a moment to speak with Kai.
Oh yes, there were conversations that need to happen, and I want to make sure we get to those. Okay.
He's heading to the hospital if anyone wants to go with him.
Could you
Richard's
give me
doing
like?
what?
He's heading back to the hospital if anyone wants to go with him.
Oh, I should probably tell him about the...
I want to come with you, but I gotta find this fire lady real quick.
So I guess an important question then is, what is Piper doing?
Piper wants to run back to the candy store to talk to the owner.
Okay.
Eventually. It doesn't need to be anytime soon, but she would like to try and procure spirits for Maxine to be on Maxine's good side and everybody else's good.
Did you say spirits on purpose?
Yeah.
I don't like it.
That is a proper use of a double entendre.
I don't
So
like it.
Willa,
Yes.
I'd like you to roll notice for me, please.
I'm supremely uncomfortable as a character in this situation.
Wait, is Willow or am I rolling notice?
No, Willa's rolling notice.
Oh, okay.
You might roll notice shortly. We'll have to see. I have to ask some questions first. Okay.
That's a 9.
So it is, we're going to say it is now getting into the late afternoon. It's late afternoon at this point. Probably evening's going to be coming soon. First off, Willie, let me then also ask. Let me ask Piper something. Piper, are you trying to be stealthy for any reason while you're heading there, or are you just going?
No, I think she
Okay.
would just be like, all right, everybody's doing stuff. I'm going to go do something. See y'all later.
So, Willa, you notice that she seems to be, that you do eventually spot the Phoenix lady after you've been looking around. You don't see her anywhere. It's like, and she comes and goes. You know that she comes and goes. But eventually you do spot her. She and Piper appear to be heading back into town. You see kind of from a distance, you see them heading back in the direction of the candy store.
Are they like talking to each other? Do I remember, did they act like they were close with each other ever before?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, kind of. I mean, they seem to be, they seem to, they seem to be friends.
Okay, well, uh, hmm. I'm just gonna like jog up real quick to catch up with them and just be like, oh, Piper, who's your friend?
So generally, Piper, whenever this kind of thing happens, actually, usually it doesn't really matter to her because she doesn't think people can see her. But yeah, this will probably be the first time things have kind of wandered in that direction. So yeah, Piper. You're at the entrance to the to the thing. You're at the entrance to the candy store. You see people inside excitedly buying candy, and and you see that you see Willa comes up and she asks you this: "Who's your friend?" And at this point, your friend goes inside.
What are you talking about, Willa? It's just me.
What do you mean, what am I talking about? You're just walking to this candy store with this lady in the fire costume, like trapeze acrobat thing. She just walked into the store.
I don't know what you're talking about, sweetheart.
Your friend stops for a second and turns around. And she just sort of glances briefly back, comes back into Willa, and she just sort of does like this.
Are you okay there?
She turns around and she walks behind something, and then Willa, you don't actually seem to, you lose sight of her.
Thank you, Kula109, for donating a crit fail to Piper.
Thanks. I love it.
Yeah, crit fails. Now that's where things get interesting because that actually translates into bennies for me. So we'll have to kind of see how that goes. But we'll call on that when we get an opportunity. Yeah. That at least tells me where to point it.
Willa, what's going on? I'm just trying to.
Know.
You doing okay? You seem a little pale.
Yeah, no, I'm okay. Are you sure that you didn't see this? You know what? Never mind. I'm just gonna go. I think Richard was right. I'm gonna go talk to him about this for a second. Yeah. Okay.
Do you want anything from the candy store while I'm here?
Dealer's choice, and I'll just like give her a little bit of spare change to buy me some candy.
No, I'll kind of like look precariously as Willa like turns and starts walking away, like just double checking that she's okay. And then as I turn around and go into the store, I'm going to mutter under my breath, you really got to stop making other people able to see you. I can't deal with questions.
I wasn't, darling. I think she's got the sight.
Willa.
Excuse me?
Wait. I'll just start chuckling.
What?
Yeah, I know. Piper just starts laughing.
Is this the plot reveal?
Oh, out of all the people.
This is the plot reveal. Yes, she missed. Willa will remember that. Yes, she will. She will. Oh man.
Yes.
This is So good.
I love it.
I always suspected she's kind of glanced at me from time to time. I didn't know for sure she was looking at me, but
You know what?
Seems
That
like-
makes so much sense. She said that she saw some little girl at the hospital or something. That
Oh, yeah, there
everything's
was-
making so much sense.
yeah, she was a little dead girl.
Okay. All right. Well,
And that,
that
and that
suspension's not
explains-
just her letter.
yeah, no, she was definitely talking to a little girl from beyond the veil, a little girl named Octavia. I had a little chat with her afterward. Yeah, no, there's some bad business going on there in that hospital. All the ghosts are trapped in there underneath.
Oh,
Yeah,
does that
you
have
can't get
anything
out.
to do with the gate thing that Richard and Kai and everybody has been talking about? She's like
Probably
saying this
does.
like super low under her breath, like right inside the door.
Yeah, there's someone. So there's an older man just sort of like looks at you a little bit strangely and sort of sidles, trying to get past you to get out.
I'm so sorry.
He nods.
Oh,
There's oh, this might be my fault.
your fault. What did you do?
It was a long time ago.
Okay, hold on. And I'll walk back outside and kind of like start slowly making my way to the field where everything's setting up again to give myself time to talk to her. But I don't want to be in a group of people anymore.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so
so-
I'm like maybe walking as she's talking.
So we walk away from the candy store,
Yeah.
and so yeah, no, she's like, oh, this is awkward. So, okay, look, there's some folks that think that Max was responsible for the thing that happened at the mine. Okay, but it wasn't his fault. Okay, it wasn't him. It was me.
Maddie, what did you do?
There was some seriously bad stuff going down at the time, and Max pigheaded that he was going to try to take care of it himself, along with I mean, Trudy was just a kid back then, and she gave her best, but I knew that I had to do something. I mean, Max couldn't get out there fast enough with his bum leg, and we had them in the mine. They were going to get out, and I did what I had to.
Who is they? What do you mean did what you had to? What did you do? It's still on fire today.
Yes, and that's what's keeping the that's what's keeping them all in the hunting grounds right now, more than anything else. They're not coming out. That's the important thing.
But Maddie, who is they? Who is stuck there? What did you find?
One of our people, okay? One of our people was okay. This isn't the kind of thing you just sort of blurt out, but a while ago we had someone traveling with us who turned out to be a bit of a demon. And it seemed like he had a number of followers. He and his demon brother had a bunch of followers on the other side, and they were going to make use of the gate for that, or he was. His brother, thankfully, wasn't involved, I don't think. Never actually figured out who that was, but anyway. I had to do something, so I went in and he was in the mine. He was getting ready to try to do it, try to bust the gate wide open, and so he had, let's just say there were some other creatures around he had kind of started to treat with that were blocking the exit, and I was the only one there, so that little trick that I taught you how to do, when you spit fire at something?
Yeah.
That was the last time I ever did that trick while still being, still having a body.
Oh, Maddie. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I mean, it stopped them. At least I thought it did. Apparently there was fallout that I hadn't considered.
Maddie, do you remember who the demon was? Did they die? Or did he survive?
The body he'd taken on was completely burned away. I don't know. I mean, the guy. So he went by. He was going by the name Andrew Keith when he was with us. The whistling man. He used to do a trick that would control the weather.
Okay.
And, I learned his real name. He's one of the older ones. Apparently, a lot of demons used to be people in life. If he was a person in life, it was a long time ago, and he and his brother were worshipped as it's kind of like god emperors. And Andrew Keith, Androketh is, I think, what he was first called, probably. At least that's what he kept crowing.
And so you said the body he took on burnt up. But
Yeah,
you don't know if he
they kind of have to. They don't have their own bodies usually. Most of them they just flit around.
Right.
But they sometimes, if they're strong enough, they can make a body. They can make themselves solid.
So there's still a chance he might be out there. Is
Yeah.
what I have to worry about? That's what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, maybe some of his followers or something.
Okay. Okay.
But
Okay.
everyone wants to blame Max, and it wasn't fair, and he had to. And you can see that actually she's hesitant to say what's next. She's like trying to hold back tears, which is unusual for her. There is something else you can almost sort of tell that she's not saying.
Maddie, you gotta tell me. I'm the only person besides Willa, apparently, and Willa's not gonna talk to you, so I think I'm the only bet you got. You gotta at least tell somebody what's going on.
Make a persuasion roll, please.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
She just closes her eyes and she says, you remind me so much of me. Sometimes I take too much advantage of that. I'm sorry. After I shouldn't have done it. It was selfish. I left. It only was a temporary stop to the problem, and I left Max to raise Maxine on his own. And I mean, it just wasn't good. I'm trying to help her out when I can. But this is why she knows what the problem is. That's why she's making everyone stay here. She wants to try to fix everything, and she still thinks it was him. It wasn't, it was me. I haven't had the heart to tell her.
Yeah, you have to. That poor girl thinks it was her dad. She thinks it was her daddy. She's trying to fix his mistake, and it's not hers to fix, it's yours. She probably feels so guilty. I know you're not one for emotions and all that, so seeing this out of you is actually kind of scary, but you gotta fix it. I mean, now we all have to go down there. You realize that, right? We have to apparently close what you opened.
No, there's a way to do it. There might be more. Well, if we don't have to go back in there to do that, I don't think anyone would survive. Maybe there's another way, but you're right. You're right. We got to fix. Okay, listen. I have a terrible feeling about him, but if you want, I will talk to Felden's friend.
Wait.
And we can try to work something out.
What?
That's what you wanted me to do, right?
I mean, I don't quite know what you're referring to. Felden has a friend?
Did not last time you were talking about having your imaginary friend talk to my imaginary friend, or is my brain skipping a loop?
That did happen.
He mentioned it, but Piper and him have never had the conversation that he and her have special friends.
Okay.
He noticed me talking to her last time in the hospital and was like, oh, we're going to have a conversation. And Piper was just like, oh, okay, I think you're joking about something. Like, she doesn't know.
Okay. Well, you remember Maddie then said to you, I don't like his friend.
Yeah.
And you said, it'll be fine. It'll be the best thing in the world. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So she knows, but they've never actually had, like, she's had some sort of, like, something must be going on, but they've never had the actual conversation. I'm like, hey, I also have a paranormal spooky friend.
While we're here, by the way, we have had a few more crit fails donated. One to Willa, two to Richard. Two of those are by Kulo and one by Bob.
Oh, okay, excellent. That's good. That's good. I like this because this lets me know where to target the when I need additional bennies. So this will be
also
this will be very helpful.
Side note: of course, Felden has friends.
Not in that regard. So what you meant.
So she says, Felden has. There's this guy that follows Felden around. He's not like me, right? He might actually be. Truth be told, he might be another demon. But I mean, it's not that one. But it.
Well, I mean, I already kind of knew something, but I didn't know for sure. So I'm not super surprised. However, now knowing that it might be another demon is more terrifying than it should be, especially if now I have to talk to him about you talking to him or talking to his demon. This is weird.
Well, if anyone's likely to have an ear to the ground about what's going on with the occult community locally, it might be that demon. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, then, I trust you fully to investigate the demon that Felden carries alongside him. But if we could maybe not manifest around Willa, at least for the time being, I think that would keep things much smoother. She's got way too many questions and doesn't really believe in all that mumbo jumbo anyway. So it's don't spook the poor girl. She's got enough on her plate. Maxine
She's
already
gonna
does
get
enough.
spooked sooner or later. It's.
I'd rather have it be by something worth spooking over. You're just
If it's not me, it's gonna be somebody else. I'm surprised it wasn't that poor kid.
That's true. She's still in denial about that, but we'll get there when we get there, I suppose. She'll come around eventually. At least we're all hoping. I don't think
At
she
this point, you're
realizes
probably back
for a reason.
At this point, you're practically back at the carnival grounds at this point, and so she vanishes.
Yeah, she says
and
that,
you're
and
saying, "All right, fine, I'll just keep it like this for now."
Thank you. I just kind of assimilate myself back into whatever's going on.
So, Kai and Felden wanted to have a chat.
I think Felden actually wanted to catch Richard really briefly beforehand.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And you're probably working, right? Being security, presumably.
Yeah, he was gonna head off to the hospital.
All right. So she's heading off.
Mentioned that to everyone before he did.
Yeah. Richard,
Yeah.
you should know something, and he kind of gets in close. You should know something about the that girl Willa saw. I found the woman she was talking about. She's ancient. She remembered a girl named Octavia. You know, when they were kids together. I don't think she's as alive as you and I. Or at least not as alive as you.
Gotcha. That's good to know. Out of all the people who would be able to see, dead people, you wouldn't expect to be Willa.
Oh no, it's kind of poetic, don't you think?
Yeah, I suppose.
A lot of people say that if they can't see it, they can't believe it. And some other people say, even if I can see it, I can't believe it.
I believe what's in front of her own eyes, but that's Willa, I guess.
I'll be honest, no hard
back.
feelings about the carnival between us.
That's fine. I understand. There's,
Good luck.
yes, few, loose ends I want to check out at the hospital.
If it gets dangerous, try to get help.
I've got something in my back pocket if I need it.
Maybe the girl who can see ghosts can help you out. She says, walking away.
Yeah.
Richard, I'm beginning to think that you were actually right that we shouldn't set up the carnival here.
Yeah. Am
Things
I?
going on in this town, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it is that that I'm missing here, but there are weird people that are being super mysterious, and I think it's connected to that kid at the hospital somehow. So I'm sorry that I doubted you. I should have listened to you when you said that there was something bad that was happening.
Was Willa there for that conversation?
No, but she was on her way back after the encounter with Piper and meet up with Richard to go to the hospital.
Gotcha.
So I feel like as you're walking away, I was like, and another thing, Richard, I'm sorry.
Of course.
I should have
You probably heard the, why don't you bring the girl who can see ghosts? Yeah, not knowing it's about you.
Exactly. Still totally not me, though. I saw real people, okay? They had lives.
Once upon a time they did.
Clearly. So, Richard, are you going to the hospital on your own, or are you bringing someone with you?
Unless anyone's going with me on my own. It's a horrible idea.
Okay.
But
I would come
Excellent.
with you. I am now extremely suspicious.
Oh,
Okay.
Are Willa and Richard going?
you'll welcome the company.
Okay, cool.
Excellent. we'll circle back around to that. But in the meantime, yeah.
We had 2 more crit fails donated, also by Kula, to myself and Kai above me.
I feel so powerful now.
Help.
Anyway, so Kai, eventually you're able to, Felden is around talking to a lot of people, but eventually, you see him finally. He talks to, I think Richard for a moment, or not Richard, but he talks to a few people, and then it appears as though for a moment Felden has some time free.
Naturally.
And you may have speech.
So, James, I think there's something you might want to take a look at.
The Michael Taylor guy's a real fucking piece of work.
Oh, yes, he is. I think he's just a tip of our problems here.
Well, I think he might be sitting right at the center of that iceberg. That conversation with the guy, all innuendo and shadowy practically made me sick.
He does like to double speak in riddles, I've noticed.
I mean, I don't mind that. I do that. Makes people smile and pretend that they like you. There's something he said about focusing on the future, wanting to keep the carnival safe. Weirded me out.
He weirded me out too, and frankly, as soon as we get out of here, the better. But there is something else that is weirding me out that I think you are very interested in. And he is just going to... So did he actually, develop the pictures, or did he just get the negatives developed?
Well, let's see. You were in as far as the photos themselves, it's whatever you would have had time to do in those couple of hours last night.
Yeah, then he would have just done the singular one of He Who Walks Behind Felden.
Yeah.
And you just slide that over. I got something.
Oh. I was wondering if that one came out or not.
Yes.
Illustrious spook manager. Could you remind me what that picture looks like?
Yes. Actually, I posted an image in our little group chat.
Oh, that one.
Today. Or was it yesterday? It might have been yesterday. Yes.
A time beyond place.
Last night I posted a little image, but yeah, it's basically this. It looks like a person, but they're very dark with the sort of smoky borders and a miasma coming off of them.
Yeah, it's almost like ashy skin and one piercing eye.
Yes.
I definitely thought that was the Night King from Game of Thrones that you were just doing for ambient dread and horror.
Yeah, same.
Oh no,
Totally
I found
not
that
something specific.
I feel safe right now. Felden's also a very good liar.
Is there any way that Kai would know what this is, other than obviously something otherworldly?
I mean, I got occult. Have I seen this? I haven't seen the boy before. Can I see if the sight jogs anything?
The image.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and you can make an occult roll.
Pew. I'm gonna use a Benny on that.
All right.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll use a Benny too. Fuck it. Give me a second.
Actually, we're almost done the session. Might as well keep going.
Yeah.
And again.
We tried.
Well, no.
So single success is the best that you're getting right now.
Yeah. I just didn't want to play ball.
Yeah, I mean, so it's definitely a non-corporeal creature. as far as you can tell. And
Can
just
Kai,
take a-
yeah, can Kai tell if it's at least infernal in origin, something like that? Demonic? Or is it just like straight up alien otherworldly?
Theldon will take the thing and hold it over his shoulder and speak, "You like your mugshot?"
it's basically, it looks like not so much alien origin type thing. I mean, it could be some type of spirit. It is probably not in the ghost sense of the word, but more in the some sort of being from beyond the veil. Not entirely human spirit of some kind, but this one is human enough that it probably is very connected in some way to humanity. So I mean, it's I'm just sort of looking at it with that. It's probably some kind of It could be a spirit, could be a demon.
Okay.
We got one more donation, a crit fail for our lovely Marshall from Definitely Not Bob.
We're gonna have to figure out how that works. I guess maybe that's gonna translate as an additional Benny for someone else. We'll figure that out as we go. Yeah, this game, the way the crit fails and successes work, it's really it's hard to apply it directly to the rolls, but we'll sort it out backstage.
Crit fails aren't that hard to think about how we could put them together. Successes are a little more general.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. We'll workshop it. We'll figure it out. But anyway, yeah. So that's basically what you get from that impression.
I have no idea what this is, or who this is, or what to do, to be frank. Now we have a face.
With a face, you can begin to do something. You see, some of the most powerful magics is the ability to create something out of nothing.
You're talking to a photographer. I'm able to capture something and out of nothing and make it something.
Ooh, people have this very unfortunate habit of taking things like pictures as proof of things.
That they do.
I don't have it exactly pieced together yet, but we might be able to put our heads together for something, Mordecai.
He smiles, reaches down into it. I'm assuming they're like in his tent. He reaches out, grabs a bottle of whiskey, just kind of puts it on the table between the two of them. I believe we can, James.
Oh, excellent. And he'll drop the cigarette on the ground, step on it, and then switch to the other imbibement. Good on that scene, or do you have more, Kai?
Yeah, I think we're good. If you folks are all right. Yes. You will. I will say, if you want further things looked into with regarding the picture of the camera, there is. Remember, a photo place in town. Should you desire to go there. But
yeah, I'm sure that's not federally monitored at all.
No, probably not. Who knows? It's a private business. But the guy's got a patent and everything. I am going to briefly, we're going to whisk over to, for just a moment, I'm going to whisk over to, I think, yes. How many things to throw at the wall this session? Okay. We're going to see a very brief, This is a brief montage. and I think it's going to be Piper that's going to see this. What do you typically do when you are in that? What do you do that evening when you're back at the carnival?
I think now that she's back, she would take the time to like practice. So she would take out her fans and just kind of like go over her routine and just like kind of go to the little trailer where she gets dressed and has all of her stuff and just kind of go through and pick out an outfit for tomorrow and just like kind of try to remember that there is some semblance of normalcy even with all this craziness going on. I think it's more of like a decompression for her, like getting back to what she's normally doing. So trying to force that normally.
So, and this is going to be very brief, but you basically take care of that, and you're getting, you got some practice in. And one thing I will note that you see, as well, that you sort of come out as you're coming out, and you're sort of on the edge of things, that you're going to notice, and this is like across the fairgrounds, right? So it's not like right immediately. But you see the town police chief, and again, remember this is a one-cop town basically. But you see you see Chief Darlington talking to someone in what looks a fellow in a long coat and a cowboy hat, and standing who appears to be standing in front of a couple of other folks who have are wearing just sort of business clothes. They're wearing suits. It's a guy in a suit and a woman with a camera. The guy in the cowboy hat seems to be arguing with having some sort of argument with the police chief, and he just sort of turns to the two people, and the one with the camera and the people in suits, and he just sort of points at the fairgrounds, and they just kind of nod, and the police chief just sort of throws up his hands, and they start approaching, and it's sort of very distant as you sort of see this guy in the cowboy hat turn. That it looks like, is that it looks kind of like he might be some sort of law enforcement himself. He's you see that there's some sort of star on his chest. And then we're going to cut away quickly because as we don't have. No, I'm sorry. Did you want to react real quick?
I was just gonna say Piper would probably immediately like try and seek out where Richard is. Like she would be like, okay.
Well, speaking of Richard,
and
Richard and Willa, you have gone to the hospital.
This is the worst day of both of our lives.
This is bad.
And I presume, I presume you're going back in to check out the area around the door. Is that kind of what's happening?
Yeah, he's gonna try to get down there. He's trying to wedge boards in a way to where he slip through if he can.
So, what's going to happen is you're going to go ahead and go in. And the head nurse is still there. You're fine. But you go down that hallway and you see at the end of the hallway and there doesn't seem to be anyone else here in this hallway, but right now at the end of the hallway is the person that appears to be Reverend Joe Watson, standing there, the bald gentleman. He turns and he sees you as he's just sort of looking between you and the door, and he nods at the two of you as he approaches. Good evening. You two doing all right? And he sort of looks at Willa for a second. He says, I saw something recently that I thought might be of interest to you.
Oh. Good to know.
And he kind of sort of looks at, he gives you this sort of look, and you kind of hear for a second in your head, is she okay?
It's responsible. Yeah, she's fine.
He sort of looks up, and he looks down, and he says to you, to the two, whispers to the only two of you can hear it. I don't mean to alarm the two of you, but there are quite a few spirits of the dead trapped under this hospital, and I think someone's trying to use them as a battery. And that is where we're going to end this session.
Battery. Oh.
Oh, I love this.
Shit, son.
I love this.
Right, like,
folks, thank you
everyone,
all very much.
Oh, the feds are onto us, boys.
Oh, thanks, man.
everyone's days going pear-shaped. Felden's just over here like, things are just getting interesting.
Yeah.
I have never been this surprised by a plot twist in a game.
I love
It was
it.
my
That's
own
a great way
freaking
to put it. I
character.
love it. I love it.
It's perfect. It's perfect. Who else could? It couldn't be anyone else.
We all okay? We all good?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we're all.
Awesome.
That's my favorite
It
thing
was
though. 'Cause
fantastic.
Piper hinted at it with the conversation, and it's just like, I don't think Willa understands why she's a part of this group. Like, everyone has something weird going on, and Willa just thinks that she's just like here to be here and important for the carnival, where it's like there's a whole separate underlying meaning. It's great.
We're all just a bunch of people who work for a carnival who scout locations. There's nothing weird. We're just, co-workers.
That's
Nothing's
right.
happening here.
International businessmen doing international business.
Yes.
There's no more
Absolutely.
Boston say.
Not wanted by
Well,
There's no more in boxing say.
Oh
Let's go
god,
ahead.
that one.
Well, let's go ahead and get this wrapped up for folks, so that they so that we don't get too much panicking from management. Let's go ahead and go around and do our outros, and once again tell folks where they can find you and any sort of awesomeness else that you have to tell us, and then any final thoughts about this session, and we will start again with Pepper.
Hello. My name's Pepper. You can find me on Twitter at NewbieThem4815. And I am blown away by this session. I don't know what's more stunning, the fact that Willa's psychic, the fact that Piper's dead friend is actually Maxine's mom, or any of that kind of stuff. Like, just bravo, Jen. Bravo.
Well, they subbed for Revelations. I wanted to give them what they paid for.
Reasonable.
They got those.
Reasonable.
Awesome. And I'm sorry, did we get your contacts and everything? Anything else you wanted to mention, or are you good?
No, I'm good.
You're good? All right, awesome. And now down to Nat.
Hi, I'm Nat. You can find me on the internet on CrimeNet. It sits above me the whole time. That's my Twitter handle. You can find me here Thursdays over on Chromatic Chimera, on Mondays with the No Initiative crew with Wildmount, as well. Wait, is that it right now? Yeah, that's it right now. And I would just like to say that today has been excellent. I love dropping Revelations, and I am not ready for Appa's Lost Days. Chucking it over to Anna.
Anna.
I think that now means that maybe Willa gets to pull an Iroh singing a sad song. Wow, okay. So with that out of the way, hi, I'm Anna. You can find me on Twitter at Nymeria941. I also have a YouTube channel that's just Anna Goldberg. That's my name, where I talk about books and games and TTRPGs. And I'm really excited to say I just passed 500 subscribers on it. So yay, that's exciting. And then in addition to this game, I am also going to be facilitating the Sleepaway Horror RPG over on Chromatic Chimera. That's going to be at 6 p.m. Eastern on June 19th. So it is a creepy horror, diceless, GM-less TTRPG that takes place at a haunted summer camp. So come check that out.
Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Excellent. And now we shall head over to Colin.
Hi, I'm Colin Kelly, as you can see right there. That's where you can find me on Twitter. I am, in addition to this, I am also a part of Wayward Expeditions. I am a part of the Rise of the Rune Lords podcast that we do. You can find the link to the website or their Twitter profile in my Twitter bio. It's the easiest way to get to it. The handle is very long, so I won't go into it now. I will also be running the monthly meat grinder for this channel on the 28th. If you like the deck of many things and you like donate to charity, come on, you can actually participate in it. Applications, you could just throw your character up on the Discord, I believe. You submit your character there. And yeah, I look forward to killing all who make it in.
Death, excellent. Did you have any? Were there any other final thoughts about the session, or are we good?
It's amazing. I don't even know where to start. Everything about this session was great.
Thank you so awesome. Well, then finally, over to Ray.
Oh, hey, I'm Ray, and as I promised chat, this is Pickle. This is my cat. Hi, this is my bud. But yes, so together we make up with a brick with 2Ks. I do post about him sometimes, so if you want to see more cat pictures, go follow me on Twitter. You can also catch me tomorrow at 6 p.m. EDT for the beginning of a Urban Shadows campaign, where I will be playing an oracle named Ida June. So if you want to know more about Ida and the premise of the game and the crew, come and hang out with us tomorrow here on the channel, 6 p.m. EDT. I'm also running a one-shot game for gamesforlove.org next Saturday, the 19th. It is an early game. It's 9 p.m. EDT, but it's a 24-hour gaming charity stream on the Scraticus Academy for gamesforlove.org, which is a great charity. So if you have time, come and support. And yeah, anything else I do will be on my Twitter. So thanks for hanging and letting me play as usual. I love this episode because there were a lot of crazy plot twists and awesome things that we learned that we had no idea about. I had no idea about anything that had to do with Maddie and Maxine and the whole carnival. And now there's federal government involved and there's liquor everywhere. It's crazy time and it's great. So I love it. This has been so much fun. I can't wait till next week.
Is this
Yay,
campaign
awesome.
just going to end with us all getting brought up on liquor charges? Like that's how it ends. They can't get us for spooky stuff, but they can get us for tax evasion.
Yep, there we go. It's a bit of an anticlimax, but there we are.
Exactly that without Crown.
Very thematic. Awesome. Well, folks, as for me, I'm Jim Ryan. I am OtherDoc on both Twitch and Twitter. My website is jim.com, where you can find links to my various other projects and game signups and what have you. In about 1 hour, I'm going to be over on my channel playing in a Powered by the Apocalypse cyberpunk game called The Sprawl, run by our guest MC Brian. We are collecting for the Bail Project, collecting pledges for the Bail Project on that. So folks who might be interested in watching us hurl ourselves at increasingly worse and worse obstacles while helping to support a good cause, feel free to come over and say hi. On Saturdays, I run Invisible Sun. On Sunday afternoons, I generally do one-shots. The one-shot this Sunday is going to be Lords of Gossamer and Shadow, which is a diceless game sort of descended from the Amber Diceless RPG about ultra-powerful beings who can cross dimensions. And on Sunday evenings, we have our regular campaign of Dark Matter, Ghosts of Salt Marsh in Space, run by our GM, Alyssa. And then on Monday nights, I'm over on Salty Sweet Games playing in their campaign Strange Invasion, Assault on the Barrier Peaks. And then Tuesday nights back on my channel, we've started a short campaign of another Powered by the Apocalypse game called Casketland, which is an occult western set in the end times. Which we just had our session 0, and I think it's going to be very cool and also very gruesome. So very, very interested in that getting going. And of course, Thursday afternoons, back here to do more Deadlands Noir. and very keen to see what happens next. As for the rest of things, I just want to shout out once more to our YouTube viewers. Thank you all so much once again for watching. If you made it through the outros, please let us know in the comments that you did so, and let us know which of the revelations that happened you liked best. I think is a good question, and who would you want your secret mentor to be if it turned out that you had you ran into someone who was secretly taught you how to do strange and mysterious things? Who might that have been? But I also want to say thanks to our sponsors, once again, Fantasy Grounds and World Anvil. So you'll know Encounter Roleplay is accepting pitches for campaigns for the summer season. Go into their Discord and apply. They are lovely folks to work with. I can attest to that. So if you got ideas you want to throw in, please do so whilst you still can. And I believe as we are leading out here, it will be to a trailer for the Masks campaign that is on this channel, I believe, on the morrow. So check out that after we're gone. But in the meantime, folks, take care, and we will see you all of a sudden. Farewell.